In this demo, I'll be showing you how to create an app using Bolt.new, which uses the new Firecrawl Extract API. So we're going to extract the data from this website and use the Firecrawl API to retrieve the information from here. So before we develop our app in Bolt.new, we need to understand how to call the API. So what we'll do is we'll take the URL of the website that we want to extract the data from. So we copy this URL and we actually put it here. So why do we need that? So we want to know when we call this URL, what data do we get from it, right? So let's add this URL. Before we click run, we need to configure what data we want to extract from that website. So now I'm gonna use the nice feature of Firecrawl, wherein you can actually use AI to create your schema. So I'll say that this is for a property listings website. So extract data from a property website. All right. Just click edit, then it will create the fields that you need to extract automatically using AI. So here we can see that it actually gave us a bunch of fields. Let's say we have the ID, the title, the description, the price, and the location, and the city and state. So there also have images. Then I have the agent. Let's say who posted this listing. So now we also have here in this section the JSON view, which we will use later in our API. So you click on this and you will see the representation of that schema in a JSON format. So when we're happy with the schema, we can actually click run. So let's try the API now. So you'll see here there's some animation, because it's taking time for Firecrawl to actually extract the data and process it into the schema that we wanted. Right, so let's wait a bit and let's see what is the response. So Firecrawl is done processing the extraction. So we now see here that it's able to extract 5 property listing items with the formatted JSON below. So at least we get an idea of how the JSON will look like. I've set up initially the Extract API plus the schema that we created earlier in the playground in the Firecrawl dashboard. So what I did is I set up the URL that we want to retrieve data from. Then I copy the schema from there to here. So meaning that the response of the extraction, it's gonna map all that data into this schema. So once we call this API, we will get a extract ID here. So this extract ID, if we want to check the status, we copy this ID and we go to the check status API. So here, for example, right, I did a request earlier. But let's do it again for this new extract ID. So we put that ID there so we can get the response of this processing. So you see here that it's not yet ready. It will say processing. So it means that it's still going on. So let's wait a bit and see what is the response of the extraction. I'm just gonna do this a few times until we get the response. All right. So after a few seconds, we already have the response, which is mapped to the schema that we actually defined earlier. So now let's ask Bolt to create an app for us. So I prompt Bolt to create an app which will take in a URL and display information scraped using the Firecrawl Extract API. Then we will also show Bolt that this is the sample response of the Firecrawl Extract API. Then with that response, which has the extract ID, we ask Bolt to use the extract ID to pull this check status API below. So fill in the extract ID request param with this ID. Finish polling until the results are available. So you need to poll every 5 seconds. So what I will do now is I will copy the extract API call. So we will use the curl representation of the API call. So let's prompt it to Bolt. Then we also need to show Bolt what the response is. So let's copy this here. All right. So and then use the extract ID. So this one, we will just tell Bolt that just, check the status using this API. So I already prepared that, so we don't need to actually copy that from the Postman. So then we say this is the sample final response that we will receive. So now here we will need to copy the final response, a sample final response, what we get from Postman. So we copy this entire response and copy it to Bolt. Then finally, we ask Bolt to use cards to display the data with the information in the response. So now let's ask Bolt to create the app for us. So it's now trying to create a property listing app that fetches and displays data from the Firecrawl Extract API that we gave it to. Let's just wait a bit. So it's generating. We hope that we get it in one prompt. If we're very lucky. All right. So now we have our app ready. Let's try it. So let's go to another URL. So we're sure that it didn't use the one that we prompted it with. Then let's try to extract the information from this new URL. It's taking some time because it's polling the response. So let's just wait a bit. All right. So now we have the response from the Firecrawl API. So now let's check if this is actually in the website that we are scraping. So we see that this is the first property listing in this website. So that worked. All right. So in this demo, I showed you how to use the Firecrawl Extract API to easily retrieve data from a website. I also showed you how to use Bolt.new to quickly build an app that integrates the Firecrawl Extract API. So I hope this inspires you to build apps with Bolt and Firecrawl. Bye.